I got it in my head that I could make it on my own if I could just get away from here. So I escaped. With an elaborate plan, and I did. I got away, and I walked a long ways. I knew all the ways that the boys got caught because Mr. Bell told me all about them when we would go to any city. So I stuck to a plan, and I had $10. That's it. I had $10, and I had my box of paint and brushes. And when I got to Jackson, Michigan, which is before Detroit, I bought a ticket, a Greyhound bus ticket. You could buy a bus ticket for about $3. So when I got to Toledo, I went to a place called the Oregon Hotel. And I said, I'd like to rent a room for the night. And I did. And that room cost $3. I was so happy. I was so thrilled that I was sleeping in my own, this is it, man. I've got to make it now. I got to make it. I'm sleeping in my own hotel room. I'm just like any other person. And tomorrow morning I'm going to hustle. I'm going to do whatever I have to do. My intention was to make it with my art. I really was I thought I was good enough to do it. So this is what I did. I walked around with my paint. I looked at a bunch of places. But finally, I decided I'd go in this beauty salon. And I just told the guy, I said, listen, I can magnify the beauty of your place tenfold. I'm working my way through college. I'm an artist. Would you like for me to paint a mural on your wall right there? He says, how much would you charge you? I said, $30. $30. That was to me a lot of money right then. So he says, $30. I said, and material. He says, okay, and material. He says, okay, what can you put up there? I said, oh, I can put some mountains and some water and really beautiful. And he said, that might be really pretty right there. He said, go for it. What I did, this is the first big thing I ever painted in my life. I never did it before. I painted a crude mountain. I mean, really just an amateur mountain. Some water, like a piling or something coming straight up. I painted a seagull on top of it. Anyway, he loved it, and I got work out of that. These gay guys, they were gay, and they asked me to paint something in their room, in their apartment, and I did. I painted this little bridge with water and flowers, and I just remember this bridge I painted, and they went over like that. And they asked me to do something like that, and I did it. So I got another $30. But now I was able to at least have a room to sleep in, and cigarettes, and man, I was making it. I felt great. In the nighttime, I would go in they had so many nightclubs in Toledo. It was a nighttime place. I would go into the Theatrical Lounge, the Casablanca, Phil Cough's. Phil Cough's had nothing but gay people. But here's what I would do. I'd go in there with my sketch tablet, and I'd walk around and I'd say, you'd like to have a spoof for $5? And they'd say, what's a spoof? I said, it's a picture of you, a drawing of you. Can you do that? And I said, certainly. And they said, so I had the great hustle. I was going around everywhere. Sometimes some drawings didn't look nothing like the person I had nothing like the person, but some of them were pretty good. And I always did a profile. The profile, straight forehead, nose, and very simple, but I'd make them kind of funny, right? They always gave me more than $5. They tipped me. They just, I don't have a $5 bill, we'll take a 10, right? And you deserve it. This is wonderful. Can you do my girlfriend? Yeah. At any rate, I did a good job in them. And then I ended up getting a job with Rose LaRose in the Burlesque Theater. Rose, she loved me. And I painted backdrops for her, for the girls. And she liked me so much. And there was a guy that was a backstage manager, like a middle-aged dude, but none of the girls liked him. And he was creepy. And she called me in the office one day and says, I'm going to make you my backstage manager. You know what that entails? I said, I have no idea. And she said, basically you just make sure the girls are on deck and they're ready to get on stage. And so here I am, we're sitting on this dunce stool, talking with a clipboard, talking about Busty Russells, you're on deck. At any rate, there was so much going on in them days. I mean, I had so much fun with those girls, but this is what they did, what they introduced me to. They came in troops. They would go from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh to Cleveland and Cincinnati, and then end up in Toledo. And when they got to Toledo, all of them had stashes of drugs. They all took speed in them days, and there was just a lot of drugs around. But I wait for them to come in because they had the calabo, right? I got introduced to biphenyl T20. That's a black beauty. They are very strong amphetamine. The truth is, I got spun out. I got addicted. I mean, just to the life and to the and you have to keep going. I took speed, and I discovered that I had a skill, not a skill, but a talent for dancing. Because I would go to the Peppermint Lounge almost every night and just dance, man, to live music. And dance. I love to dance, right? And I was always high on speed, and I was selling it and this, that. And one day, I run into a guy, and he's got a doctor's bag full of dope and of pharmaceutical drugs. And to make that long story short, I was really going to sell that stuff, and I tried to, but I got set up and I went to jail. And when I went to jail, I stayed in that jail 6 months, and that was the first jail I ever went to in my life. I don't even talk about what went on in that jail. But I want to say, when I finally got in front of the judge, he literally gave me probation to Pittsburgh under the stipulation I don't ever come back to Toledo. And so I ended up back in Pittsburgh, living with my mother, and I was so happy to be home with my mom. And they didn't send me back, because I turned 18, they didn't send me back to Starr Commonwealth. I was done with them, but I was on another trip.